Last time I gave some brief thoughts of what was shown from the gameplay a couple weeks ago, and this is the first video where I will be diving into one of those aspects. More specifically, today you will be blessed by Captain Kaisar's thoughts and concerns over Halo Infinite's weapons. First of all, this video was supposed to have a way more pessimistic outtake. I believe this because I used to have a problem with what 343 showed, and I thought I was alone. However, after watching most of people's reactions to what they showed, I have found that for the most part, I'm not alone. So what is this problem I share with the people, you say? Well, to cut right to the chase, Halo Infinite's new weapons don't look like they belong. As I said in my other video, if I put certain aspects from Halo Infinite into other Halos, I don't think they would work. In this case, I couldn't imagine most of Halo Infinite's weapons being held by Master Chief in the other Halo games. Just look when I photoshopped the new Commando into Halo 3. Yeah, it looks way off. I find that this problem arises because they look way too realistic and, I'd like to say generic, however, I feel that term's significance has been fogged out by the Halo community, so, in other words, these here weapons are too modern or share a similar, if not identical design with modern weapons. Exhibit A, when I photoshopped this new Commando gun into Call of Duty, well, I wouldn't say it fits 100% because of Halo Infinite's double rainbow art style, but yes, it goes along much better here. And even further, if I was to put this gun into a game that had more of a modern/cartoony art style, well? Wait a minute, this looks familiar. Have I seen this before? Oh my god! When did the first Destiny weapon come into Halo? I'm kidding, but they look and feel extremely similar. Kind of a coincidence. Anyway, as a sidekick to this weapon, get it? Sidekick? As in the weapon, I'm too damn good. Anyway, right next to the Commando comes this gun, which if you didn't get it, the gun's name is a sidekick. And like the new Commando, this gun? Way too modern. I'm pretty sure if I was to go into my neighborhood gun shop, I live in Texas, I could find an exact replica of this weapon. As for the Bulldog/Snooze shotgun, I also think this design is modern and very much looks/functions like Titanfall's EVA shotgun. But out of all the new weapons, I think it's the most interesting, at least from design. As for the alien guns, I'm also not the biggest fan. You got one that is way too boring and another one that's too damn simple. Just look at a comparison from the Ravager and the Brute Shot. Yeah, there's nothing there to compare. Brute Shot for the win, for the W. Another common gripe that I share with many is with the gun sounds. Once again, way too realistic. All the past Halos had weapons that sounded so iconic and unique. And here comes Halo Infinite and throws the hell out of that away. Do you remember how awesome the guns from Halo 3, Halo Reach, any Halo ever apart from this game sounded? That Mauler sound. And compare that to this cheap-ass version of it. So yeah, it's a real disappointing with a game like Halo that has such memorable everything gets dragged down from something so simple such as gun sounds. On another note, I recently saw a video by Chris Raygun where he discussed a certain topic about weapons I had never really considered before. This would be about the redundancy of certain weapons in Halo's sandbox. Basically, it's that particularly in the case of most recent Halo games, many weapons share almost identical purposes to other guns and thus are pointless. As an example, the shotgun and the scattershot, where both weapons are used for close quarter combat and function in almost the exact same way. I'm not all for this particular point of view, because for me, when it comes to Halo, I just say the more the merrier. I love the shotgun and I love the scattershot. They're both friggin' awesome. But when it comes to Halo Infinite, I definitely saw this problem, but at a massive capacity. I mean, in the span of 8 minutes, and not even that, because this friggin' brute, this thing, took away 2 precious minutes of what should have been gameplay and more weapon action. Anyway, 343 managed to give almost every weapon shown a redundant counterpart. And here to talk about all those weapon redundancies, please welcome, for the first time, Captain Business.
Looking for a gun, eh? Well, you're in luck, because boy do we have the stuff for you. You want an automatic rifle? You got the classic AR. But wait, there's more. Here's the C6469 whatever commando for you, and it does the exact same thing. You want a close quarter combat weapon? Here's the new Bulldog, perfect for all your necessities. Oh, and the Mangler, which does the exact same thing. What's this? A burst rifle, you say? We have just the thing. Check out this brand new carbine knockoff Pulse Carbine. And hey, you want more of the same thing? Here's the Ravager, which instead of blue bullets, it shoots red ones. And even more, for a limited time, we got another one. Here's the classic BR for all your bursting fetishes. Hurry up now and grab all these new weapons that add absolutely nothing that hasn't already been there to the Halo sandbox. Thank you very much. This is Captain Business. See you later.
That being said, I think I understand why all of these guns were placed in the game. And like I said last time, I'll be sure to make a video expanding more on this. But basically, in an open world game, the player needs to feel like there's always something new to explore. So part of this aspect might have been handled by adding a lot of weapons. So all in all, I wouldn't mind all these weapons if they were for that purpose. However, being that we don't know if this is true or not, these weapons could serve as some of the new weapons that are introduced in Halo Infinite. Which takes us to my next concern. Will these weapons serve as replacements for the original guns, or will they just serve as mere companions to the original ones? From what I've heard, apparently guns like the Pulse Carbine, and especially the Bulldog, are meant to replace the original Halo guns. Those of course being the classic shotgun and the classic Covenant Carbine. I personally don't think that's the case, but if it is, you can certainly be sure that I will personally lead a crusade against 343 for doing so. But anywho, here's hoping that they don't do that. What's this? The original shotgun and Magnum are not... Well, me and them motherfuckers! As a matter of fact, why don't they just stick a giant up my cause they be already and they can just spank me and just call me Mary Poppins. You get me, right?
Come together, brothers! Lads! Mates! Today, we end the apocalypse! Because today, it marks the last stand of 343!
To my dismay, if they don't replace the weapons, this leads to yet another concern. Even though some of the classic weapons are in the game, would they be replaced by some of the new weapons in matchmaking? For example, would AR starts be replaced with Commando starts? Or will the Pulse Carbine replace the role of the original Covenant Carbine? An argument could be said that in a map there could be both the AR and the Commando, but that would just go along with what Chris Reagan was talking about with weapons redundancies. And by the way, is this Mangler supposed to be the replacement for the Mauler? Why not just stay with the cooler looking, feeling, and sounding original Mauler? If that's the case and this Mangler replaces the Mauler, at that point, they would really just be changing things for the sake of absolutely no sake. It's like Microsoft and how they keep changing the goddamn home screen. It's like, why? So if 343 actually goes along with the path that I mentioned, which is just implementing a couple new guns in a new game, and the ones we were shown in the gameplay compose some of them, boy do we have another problem. Would 343 really consider these weapons as new? None of these weapons seem original, and if compared with the other games and how they introduce new weapons, you can really see the difference. So before this, let me just note that I haven't really seen any demos slash gameplays of older Halo games. I've just seen newer ones, as in 4 and 5. While these games aren't the greatest references, they do provide great examples of new weapons that were introduced that can actually fall into the new weapons category. And for my first example, look no further than Halo 5, where in the 2015 E3 conference they revealed a new weapon to be called Plasmacaster, a brand new anti-infantry and to an extent anti-vehicle weapon. It shoots bouncing projectiles that after a certain period explode like small grenades. Similar to Halo Reach's grenade launcher, you say? Well, true. But what if I told you there was a second function to this weapon? Because not only does it shoot small grenades, but if you hold the trigger, it casts off a big grenade that sticks on impact, explodes, and launches a cluster of small grenades out. Or in the case of Halo 4, in 2011's E3 reveal trailer, we got our first glimpse of the new Sticky Detonator, a weapon that shoots one grenade that could stick to walls, ceilings, floors, and basically any other thing ever. And once it's stuck, the player was able to detonate it whenever he pleased, or when he died. And believe me, this weapon was the greatest thing for blocking entrances, defense, and overall, just being an absolute creep.
Yes. Guys that wants to play, come inside the door. Yes. Yes.
Additionally, in the actual Halo 4 gameplay reveal, they showed all the brand new Promethean weapons and how they uniquely came together as you held them for the first time. More specifically, with the light rifle. And how it changed from a burst shot to a single shot weapon, and even further, how all the Promethean guns disintegrated their enemies whenever they were killed. Once again, not the greatest games to reference, but the weapons they revealed serve as fantastic examples for my point. Furthermore, if you compare any of these new weapons to what we saw in Halo Infinite's reveal, Halo Infinite might as well bend over at this point. And hell, you could even see this problem with just the sounds. You don't even have to see what the weapon looks like or even what it does. And I know, we have yet to see what the guns actually turn out like in the final game. But from reveals alone, Halo Infinite's weapons might as well fall into the bullshit category compared to any other Halo game. And more so, it's definitely a good indicator of where Halo Infinite's heading, which... Right. Hopefully, we get to see a weapon that actually deserves to be called new in Halo Infinite's beta. If there even is one. So it's really going to be unfortunate if 343 refers to these weapons as new. As I just showed you, guns that deserve to fall into the brand new category are guns that add something completely new and unique to Halo's sandbox. So considering this, I wouldn't classify Halo Infinite's weapons to be new, but more like variants. Because quite frankly, they're but a mere reskin of weapons we've already had in the past, but with a few tweaks here and there. Once again, I would be completely fine with these weapons as long as we get a vast selection of actually new weapons. But in the meantime, I'm just going to refer to them as variants. Which in the demo, they appear to have numbers before the gun's actual name, so this might in fact indicate that they are indeed variants. If you hadn't noticed what system I'm about to refer to, well, here it is. You could basically compare any new weapon in Halo Infinite with Halo 5's Rex system, where you have the original gun and then the exact gun, but with a reskin and a slightly different function to it. For example, you would have the normal Covenant carbine, and as a second tier you would have an automatic carbine. So if 343 would follow this, I would be completely fine. In fact, I think it'd be much better on the Halo 5s because maybe these weapons would actually have different models for each variant. Unlike Halo 5 where it's basically the same weapon but with a few colored stripes on the side. Anyway, I just hope 343 doesn't make 10 or 15 new weapons that work similarly and refer to them as new. So I think that's about most of what I could say about Halo 5's weapons. Like I said, I'll be expanding on a small aspect of what I talked about, but it's mostly going to be about how weapons would work in an open world, or how at least I hope they will work in an open world. Once again, most of these weapons actually have fantastic designs, but they just don't look like they belong in a game like Halo. Their sounds and functions unfortunately seem a bit lackluster when compared to other weapons in previous Halo games. And all in all, if there was one word that perfectly describes Halo Infinite's new weapons, I would say it's uninspired. But that's about enough ranting, and this video's gone long enough. As always, thank you for watching. Actually, thank you. Be sure to leave your thoughts about my thoughts in the comments below. And hey, if you liked what you saw, maybe give this video a like and maybe subscribe? I would truly appreciate that. This has been Captain Geyser, signing out.